Angoramon and Ruli experienced an evolution this week in Digimon Ghost Game, although it wasn't the kind of evolution you expect to see from Digimon, a show about digital monsters transforming to win a big showdown. Instead, Angoramon and Ruli evolved as characters and kind of helped the Digimon series evolve the concept of what it means to be partnered with a Digimon in this episode that explored the concept very thoroughly of a Digimon and a tamer leading to different lives. Now, in most iterations of this series, the Digimon truly is an accessory to the human, effectively their pet, and very rarely having a depth of personality besides being funny or cute or both. But in the case of Angoramon in this week's episode, we got a great look at a Digimon who wants to be partnered with a human, but who also has other friends and another life. And then we see our human character kind of wrestling with the idea that her Digimon isn't just her 24-hour companion and coming to terms with that. It's definitely not the episode any of us were expecting this week. I think we all really predicted an Angoramon Digivolution in the final third, but Digimon Ghost Game has this habit of flipping the script, so we should have known to expect the unexpected. So today we'll unpack episode 11 of Digimon Ghost Game, and I'll try to explain why, if you were at all disappointed by this episode, I think you should reconsider. There really was a deep episode here for fans to chew on. Welcome back to the Digino, where we review episodes of Digimon every week, but it's not just episode reviews here. We've had a bunch of fun the last couple months covering things like underrated seasons you may have skipped, reviewing the Digivice Vital Bracelet. And speaking of the Vital Bracelet, the holidays are just around the corner, and maybe you're looking for some anime merch to get your loved ones or for treating yourself. Why not buy it straight from Japan using today's sponsor, Buyee? Buyee is the online proxy service that lets you buy things directly from Japan through them, and they ship it right to you. So remember all the times as a kid you wanted games or toys that were only available in Japan? For me, it's Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Buyee is the solution. Get instant access anywhere on earth to Japanese stores like Rakuten and Amazon JP, and get this, Buyee has a deal for all of you where you get a 2,000 yen coupon, basically $20 US, when you sign up for the first time with the custom The Digino link in this video's bio. You can get that 2,000 yen credit and use it on the Vital Bracelet or any other Japan exclusive goodies. If you get something through Buyee, take a pic when it arrives and let me know, tweet it at me. So once again, head to the link in my description for the 2,000 yen coupon. Thanks again for sponsoring the video, Buyee. The setup for episode 11 is that in a particular ward, there's been a strange weather occurrence, namely a lot of winds causing blackouts. Ruli is almost crushed and at one point is saved by her Digimon partner, Angoramon. The aftermath prompts a conversation though, where Ruli says to Angoramon that she knows he's been running off at night without her, and she asks for info, but he's not willing to share where he's been going. They have something resembling a fight, a disagreement over the fact that Angoramon isn't willing to budge on what this nighttime activity involves. It's kind of weird and cool seeing Angoramon and Ruli living separate lives, or at least having elements of their lives that don't involve each other. It's a lot like a real relationship. I know that sounds weird. Roommates, for example. And this is kind of interesting. As I said at the top of the video, it's very rare in other Digimon series and other media that we see a situation where the Digimon isn't just kind of this loyal sidekick and is only there to accompany the human at all times. My mind goes to Rika and Renamon for instances of exceptions to this rule. I'm sure there are others out there that I'm blanking on, but nothing quite like what's on display with Angoramon and Ruli here. And since this is a nearly 25-year-old franchise, I've got to applaud them for managing to write a new dynamic 25 years into this whole thing. We do eventually get to learn what Angoramon's nightlife entails, and it's kind of amazing. Before anything else, we see two Podamon, just one of my absolute favorite new Digimon from 2021 who appeared in that fantastic Joe-centric episode of Digimon Adventure 2020. I'm planning on making a video ranking and rating all of the new Digimon introduced in 2021. That'll be out in a couple weeks, so subscribe for that for sure if that sounds like fun. And also subscribe because we're ridiculously close to 20k, just a little over 100 to go. But anyways, Angoramon is part of this midnight society of Digimon who have found themselves displaced and lost in the human world, trying their best to share information with one another in an effort to make sense of their situation and learn more. It's very cool. I like that a Digimon is an active agent in unraveling this series mystery for once, and it's not just the muscle while the human kids advance the plot and then leave the fighting for the Digimon. Ruli is alone taking photos in a bamboo forest when a Digimon hologram ghost appears and slashes her camera in two. She's protected and attacked by Repamon, whose body is quite non-violent, but whose tail is this like blade-like weapon that is obsessed with displaying how sharp and powerful it is by shooting off these intense slashes that are creating the windstorms from the top of the episode. Hiro learns that his friend is in trouble, and so he and Gamamon start to head over on foot when Gamamon says that he thinks he can fly them there, and he digivolves into Kaus Gamamon. Hiro has this line that I loved. He says, "We got blue." It's kind of goofy, but I love that Hiro is referring to the Gamamon slide evolutions as blue, red, and inevitably green, I suppose. It's like he's playing a gacha game with Gamamon evolving. Gamamon evolved and Hiro pulled a rare Kaus Gamamon, or Battle Gamamon is a common pull. The Repamon keeps getting close to harming Ruli and then pulls away. She starts to realize what's going on, that the tail has a mind of its own, and the two halves are saying saying to each other things like, if only you were gone, I could say the same to you, that kind of stuff, Ruli realizes they just complain to each other that won't bring them any closer. They have to consider each other's feelings. Hito shows up to help, and so does Angoramon, and we get a really impressive animated fight sequence here. Definitely go back and check this one out again. Eventually, our side traps Repamon just so that they can talk instead of fighting, and surprisingly, no evolution required here for Angoramon. I was expecting it, but in this moment, it wasn't needed, I suppose, and it's not like we're not getting it later. This just means we got an extra character relationship building episode with Ruli and Angoramon, so again, I'm not really complaining. The evolution is still coming. Ruli says to Repamon, I was like you too. What is it you want to do? Do you really want to cut off your tail and lose a part of you? It'd rather not, but it just wants to be able to live on without people getting hurt. Quote, you want to show your sharpness and you don't want anyone to get hurt. You can't only express your disappointments. Let's find a path you can both agree on. And this scene ends with Angoramon inviting them to join his kind of midnight society of Digimon. When things do quiet down a bit, Ruli tells Angoramon, I'm sorry I was such a pill. I know you don't have to share everything with me. And Angoramon apologizes too, saying, and I'm sorry for hiding the gatherings from you. Apparently there was a rule for his kind of club that they aren't allowed to tell humans about it. And then Angoramon ends the episode by saying, when we sit and talk at each other's level, we're able to see the issue from the other side. And this is obviously them kind of saying the in conclusion moment, putting a bow on top of the episode, giving us that thesis. It was not the first appearance episode for Angoramon's champion evolution that a lot of people were expecting, but I think this episode succeeded at showing a very interesting and mature example of Digimons and humans coexisting. Just like with real human relationships, you don't need to spend every waking minute of your existence with the other person in the relationship. You can have separate hobbies, separate friends. Keeping secrets isn't necessarily the best way to go about this, as we saw through Angoramon hiding things and Ruli's reaction to that, but the outcome that Digimon and humans can be partnered without literally being tied to each other at all times was very good in my opinion. And if you disliked the episode, that's okay. I'm not here to blindly defend this show or any show. I had a lot of episodes of Digimon 2020 that just weren't for me, but I think the main reason one wouldn't like this episode is because the missing Angoramon Digivolution, and if that is the case, I don't know if it's a fair criticism. I like to judge something by how well it did at what it set out to do, not based on what I expected from it, especially when it never explicitly claimed it was going to do what I expected it to do. And so in that regard, this never claimed to be an Angoramon Digivolution episode, but instead it set out to be a story about a Digimon and a human partnership that is mature and nuanced, and you know, it told that story really effectively. So that's where I'll end the video. Thank you so much for everyone watching, and as always, let me know what you thought about this one. Did you mind that you didn't get the evolution you were hoping for? How are you feeling about Ghost Game now that we're past the first 10 episodes and into episode 11? And if you haven't already, just one more time, do me the small and super easy favor of subscribing so we can reach 20,000 subscribers before December 31st, 2021. At the time of editing this video, we have just over 100 to go. Thank you all for the support this year. It honestly means the world. I'll have a couple more videos for you before the year ends, so stay tuned for all that. Happy holidays, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.